Today on the show, introverts dating, promise rings, and the topic you've all been waiting for, foot fetishes. Brock and Cinderella's looking for a little dating advice. I'm 24, a happy introvert, and happy single, and I don't get interested in people enough to make an effort very often. I recently have been seeing someone which went down the drain partly because of my insecurity and my inexperience, and partly because he was an idiot. I don't want the same thing happening again when I get this chance with someone else. Any advice? First, I would advise you to establish some realistic expectations. Rarely, if ever, is dating and relationships and this love stuff mistake, error, accident, or idiot proof. I say that not to discourage you, but rather encourage you. Just because you met someone who was, as you say, kind of an idiot and it didn't go so well and it wasn't a match, doesn't mean that you are destined to only meet idiots that you are too insecure and inexperienced to date. My other big piece of advice is that if you are, as you say, happy and single, why don't you take some time and focus on what's going on with that insecurity? I think it would be worthwhile to not worry so much about the inexperienced stuff. That'll come, and when you meet someone who really loves you, they're gonna be patient with you. The insecurity stuff is what you can work on in the meantime. Figure out who you are on your own and all of the things that make you actually very secure and unique and have a lot to bring to the table. Sarah Cagney commented a while back, what the hell are promise rings? We don't have them in the UK or Ireland, and honestly, I didn't know they existed until my friend in America told me about them. They seem a little weird to us foreigners. I don't have any statistics on promise rings. I don't know exactly how popular they are in the US, but they absolutely exist. There are two main kinds of promise rings. One kind of promise ring is something that a guy typically gives to a girl, typically, if they are in a relationship together, that says, hey, you and me, we are totally monogamous, or totes monogs, as I like to say. This isn't a wedding band, but I'm thinking about it. This is gonna be your signifier to the rest of the world that you are off limits. Also, there's a sentimental side of, hey, this is my promise to you, that I promise I'm in love with you enough that I promise that one day I will probably ask you to marry me. The other kind of promise ring that I remember first hearing about when I was a tweenager is the purity promise ring. This is a ring usually worn by usually more evangelical Christian girls to signify that they won't have sexual intercourse until they get married. Follow-up question, do abstinence pledges and promise rings keep girls from having sex until they get married? Answer, statistically, studies, here's a citation. No. Promise rings are kind of a waste of money in my book. For a 180, Paul R wants to know, since some men and women have foot fetishes, why are women allowed to wear flip-flops in public but not allowed to go topless or bottomless? Unfortunately, I couldn't find any reliable statistics on how many podophiliacs or foot fetishists there are among us, but I think it's safe to say that sexual attraction to feet is a niche sexual attraction, hence the fact that we classify it as a fetish. Even though there are some people who might find the sight of women's bare feet in public highly arousing, it's not so common, and the foot has not been so highly eroticized and objectified and sexualized, which is kind of another way of saying eroticized, that there is any taboo attached to a woman in flip-flops. In the same way that many heterosexual women find the male back to be a very sexy part of the male body. However, it's perfectly fine for men to go around without their shirts on. Thank goodness that everything attached to a fetish wasn't also more broadly tabooed in our broader culture. Otherwise, well, we could just never leave the house. We would all have to wear hazmat suits and roll around in those giant bubbles. Humans can get into like everything. And then probably people would get into hazmat suits. And if there is a better note to end a video on than biohazard fetish, I don't know what it is. Until I see you again, ask me your questions, because I'll answer all of them. Yeah, awkward hand gestures. What? This is me stroking a fake beard, not me pulling the longest strand of spaghetti out of my mouth. Feminist killjoy in the house.